Hey yo, it's Vanta. Hey, we got a rider. Nice. Yeah, and I like to discuss, what size bike you should start off with. Um, as an overall statement and the best advice I can give, start with the bike you're most comfortable on. In regards to size, if you've taken the MSF course and you've ridden their little 150s or 250s, whatever they offer, and you feel like you're too crammed on that, then yeah, of course, you want to get something that's bigger than that, because you don't want to ride something that's uncomfortable. That's going to ruin your riding experience. You're not going to be wanting to ride the bike all that often. But I'm kind of like an average sized guy. I weigh around like 160, 170 pounds at 5'10", 5'11", I don't know. I don't really check those numbers that often, but average size. I fit into like medium sized clothing comfortably. Oh, I can't see shit. And I rode I think it was a Kawasaki Eliminator 150 in the MSF course, and I felt pretty comfortable on that. I was like, yeah, you can tell it's a baby bike, but man, it cannot see shit with the sun right in my face. So we're not gonna go crazy in this little canyon, Carbon Canyon, if anyone's curious about knowing where this is at. And look at all that dirt. But yeah, started on a Kawasaki Eliminator 125, 150. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was a small bike, and I was pretty comfortable on it. Like in the MSF course, you're never gonna like bring that to full throttle, so you don't really, you can't quite understand like the kind of the power that it offered. But at least here in Los Angeles, 150 will do pretty much anything you need on the streets. You're never. You're not winning any races, but you can get out of the way of traffic pretty competently on a 150. And so what I decided to do was buy a Rebel 250 as my first bike. It was a pretty sweet deal out of the dealership, $2,000 cash, in total. They took care of the registration and all that stuff for me. It had very low miles, mint condition. And that fit me comfortably for the first year and a half of riding. After that, I didn't want to get rid of it, but I needed something for the freeway. And of course, the Rebel 250 can handle the freeway, but you're not lane splitting. You're not really, it's just not good for lane splitting on the highway. Power cuts out around like 45 miles an hour, and it really makes you work for like highway speeds. And plus, I wanted to do a lot more group rides, and then when I show up and they see the Rebel 250, they're like, I don't know if you should come with this, dude. We're going to be on the highway all day. And yeah, so I bought a CV500F, just so I can, be more competent on the highway. It wasn't really because I outgrew the 250. The 250 was a lot of fun. I wish I had kept the bike, but I don't like paying registration for multiple vehicles. So I got rid of it, but as a beginner, again, as a medium-sized guy, if you fit into, like medium shirts, medium-sized pants, for me it's like 30 to 31 inch to 32 inch, like the length. The Rebel 250 fit me fine. Even on long rides, if I felt cramped, all I would do was just sit on the passenger seat, and that would stretch out the like the ergonomics a little bit, so you can just relax a bit. It kind of makes the mid controls into like a somewhat of a forward controls. And of course, I felt comfortable on it. I didn't feel like I was, being bullied around by cars in traffic. There's a car that's catching up, and we're pretty much speeding right now. I don't want to. We'll see. If he gets closer, I don't think he's gonna take these corners hard. I don't know about you guys, but like taking corners on the bike's a hell of a lot more fun than in a car. Because in a car, you really feel like the G-forces of like it wanting to yank you off the seat, as opposed to a bike. When you're leaning into the corners, you're being pushed into the bike, so you don't really feel it that much, or it's not as dramatic. So I feel a lot more comfortable taking corners on a bike. But right now I got to be really careful because again the sun is in my eyes. I can't really see these cars that are coming at me. So we're taking it pretty slow right now. But yeah, if you're a bigger guy, Like one of my friends, he's like 6'1" or 6'2". He weighs like pretty close to like 180, 200 pounds, and I would 100% recommend him my CB500F as his first bike, because he was curious about riding. And I was like, yeah, dude, this bike. When I had him, you know, he knew how to ride or drive a manual transmission car, and I let him just, you know, put around the parking lot of my 500. He wasn't intimidated at all. But yeah, for if you're a bigger guy, yeah, you might want to go with like a Ninja 400 or like a V-Star 650. You know, something like the middleweight, something on the smaller side of middleweights. You know, technically the CB500F is a middleweight, but it's so damn like small. The power is so damn low compared to other middleweights. Like this guy, he's like 90 horsepower, as opposed to the 500 that was like 40 or 50 horsepower, I forget. But it's totally unintimidating and approachable for newer riders who are taller. So yeah, if you're a taller guy, you know, it's totally okay to go with like a lower horsepower middleweight, just so you're more comfortable. And the idea with choosing your first bike is just choose something that you are going to be comfortable with, like mentally. You know, it's the power and weight's not going to intimidate you, and physically comfortable. Because like I said, you know, way earlier, you're going to want a bike that's not going to like make you feel scrunched up, or like a super sport where you're scrunched over. You want to be just something that you can just cruise around in all day, because in your first, you know, few months of riding, you're pretty much just going to be cruising anyways. You're not going to be, you know, taking these corners super hard or anything. You're not going to need something super competent with that, just something that can take you just, you know, easy in-town riding and stuff. And of course, based on your needs too. Like for me, the 250, it's able to handle the highway, but it wasn't, you know, I barely kept up with like group rides and stuff, so that's why I had to upgrade. But if I wasn't into that, I would have just kept the 250. So yeah, just think about that with in regards to your needs. I'd say like these newer 300s, like especially the R3, I had a chance to ride one, and yeah, it's super competent. Like it rivaled pretty much my CB500F. So I would say, yeah, as long as it's not like a 250, a 300, like a liquid cooled 300, can pretty much do everything you need as like a solo rider. Of course, if you start to add passengers, which I don't recommend it if you start out, you might need something bigger. But you know, depending on your needs, you might need to do that. Man, this guy's really fucking close. But yeah. But even you can even go with like a bigger bike if you really want to. Like my older brother, he got into bikes after I did, maybe like a year after I got into bikes, and he bought himself it's called a Suzuki Marauder, which is like their 800cc V-twin cruiser. Humongous bike, but you know, when I had a chance to ride it, it was a hell of a lot of fun. It was not intimidating at all, but I definitely would recommend that if you want to like develop really good like form in the corners and stuff, because the tires are so damn fat. That bike really just encourages straight line cruising. But again, different needs. If you just want to do cruising straight line on the highway, yeah, a bigger cruiser would totally be fine for you. But again, you would have to sit on the bike, you know, for a few minutes, see if you're comfortable on it. If the owner of the bike, if you're buying used, is comfortable with letting you test ride it, maybe take it down a couple blocks, see if your initial reaction is like, oh fuck, like this is so much power, I don't want to deal with this, and yeah, don't get the bike. But if it's easy, if you feel pretty easy about it, yeah, don't hesitate to buy the bike. Another thing to consider if you're new to motorcycles is the fuel economy. One of the biggest, how would you say it, like the motivators for riding on my bike as opposed to my car when I used to own a car, it was like, holy shit, I was getting 70 miles per gallon on my Rebel 250. That wasn't really like a thing I was looking forward to as a rider. I wasn't even aware of how well the fuel mileage was, or the economy of riding was, or how economical it is. But once I started realizing, after like 2 or 3 like fill-ups, I started calculating like how much fuel I was putting in. I was like, holy shit, 70 miles per gallon beats the 25 mpg of my, or it was like more like 20 or 18 mpg on my Eclipse GSX. It was a 97. So yeah, that really encouraged me to ride. These guys are going fast. Let's go even faster. It really encouraged me to ride more of the bike than I did drive my car. And eventually that led to the decision of just selling my car, because I was like, yeah, I don't really need it. I don't have a family where I need to be picking up people all the time. My girlfriends are always fine with, riding in the back. But yeah, that's something to consider, because if you're gonna buy like a bigger cruiser, the fuel economy is not gonna be as great compared to like smaller, like little 250s, 300s even. But even then, like the modern 300s are not, the fuel economy is not all that different from middleweights, which is really weird. Like I think the CB 300R, Honda's newest naked 300, that thing only gets like 55 miles per gallon, which is pretty close to what this one gets. This one gets 45 on a bad day and 55 on a good day. But yeah, I definitely don't recommend like a super sport as a beginner. I've encouraged a lot of people to, when I went to school, or when I used to have like go to class and stuff for like college. I just want to get away from the truck that I passed, because he didn't look too happy about me, jumping in front of him. But yeah, back when I used to go to actual classes, physical classes for school, people would see me roll up with my gear and stuff, and I encouraged a lot of people to get into motorcycling. One today, he rides an R3. Another one, he bought what was it, like a Ninja 650 or something? And of course, he never really got into riding because of it, because he's a taller guy. He's probably like 6 foot, but he's super like lanky. Not doesn't have too much muscle on him. So having that kind of super sport bike, even though it's kind of easy going in regards to super sports, I imagine it was intimidating, especially at the beginner. I wouldn't want to be leaned over in a push-up position, because you just feel like your control. You don't have that much leverage on the handlebars. But yeah, I don't think he continued riding after buying that bike, because again, it's got a lot of fucking power. It's got like 100 horsepower or something, and like 40 or 50 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty close to this bike, and I've been riding for a while. This is a lot more than what I need. In fact, I want to downgrade or buy myself like a Grom or something, just so I can stop getting like traffic tickets and stuff. Because this thing, holy shit, just wants to let's go fast. Let's go fast. That's what this bike just wants to do. Because it's it just loves to scream. But yeah, definitely, unless you just absolutely want to, if your goal with motorcycling is just to do stunts and all that crazy shit, like, yeah, go for it. Get a super sport, because you know what you want. But if you're still unsure, I would recommend to shy away from super sports, just because of the weight, the ergonomics. Again, like what I said earlier, it's not too comfortable. You want something that's comfortable. Super sports are 100% not comfortable, even if you're young and you're physically active and stuff. And but yeah, that's what I recommend about super sports. Of course, if you had a choice between a no bike and a super sport, I'd still go with the super sport, because having a bike is way better than having no bike. But if there's other options, definitely look at those. Yeah, and again, I recommend 100% buying new for your first bike. That way you can sell it for whatever you bought it for, because as a new rider, even though you feel like you're riding a lot, you're not going to be putting a lot of miles on the bike. So if it's in really good condition, as long as you don't drop it, or at least take care of the damage as you drop them, you're not going to lose a whole lot of value on the bike. So for my bike, the Rebel 250, again, I bought it, everything, registration, all that stuff, $2,000 for a Rebel 250 that only had 2,000 miles on it, and I ended up selling it for $2,400 or $2,500. So I actually, you know, I only did some basic maintenance on the bike. I never replaced any parts on it. So I actually ended up making money on that one, you know, enough so I pretty much just turned that money around and bought myself the CB500F, which that one, again, I bought it for $2,200 used. It was in really bad condition cosmetically, and like, you know, basic like mechanical stuff, like the chain definitely needed to go. Okay, let's go. And I ended up selling that one for, I believe, yeah, I sold it for $3,000. I thought someone was, you know, I listed it at $3,000 on OfferUp, and the first guy who came over, he's like, here's $3,000. If you don't mind, can you just show me how to ride a bike? And I was like, yeah, the fuck, like I thought you were gonna talk me down to like $2,000 or something, because it's in such bad shape. But I ended up, you know, I did replace the chain on that bike, the pads, you know, did all like the basic maintenance on that, the valves, all that stuff. But I did, you know, end up making like $200 on that. But again, I took all that money and turned it around, and let's see. I did turn around and buy myself the this bike, the CB650F, which is pretty much my dream bike. The dream bike is actually the 2014 version, which was like the red, white, and blue one with the gold rims. But of course, you know, it being, I bought it in 2020, I believe. And of course that model was gone, so they only had this one, the 2018 model. But I definitely do like the looks of the 2014 to 2016 models of the CB650F over these. But these look nice, you know, it's like a hybrid between that one and the new CB650R. But this is like the first bike I buy brand new. But again, that's because I have the experience now. I know I'm pretty competent when it comes to riding. Oh shit, that fucking hurt. Oh. I don't know what I hit. Pothole? That was really bad. But yeah, but that's all I have to say about like the kind of bikes you should buy, what you look out for. What you should avoid, again, just like super sports or like super heavy bikes or really expensive bikes, because you are going to drop the bike as a beginner, like that's 100%. That's kind of embarrassing. Mercedes looks like he's doing nothing, he's just cruising, and then you got this Mustang who's like just mashing on the throttle. Oh no, the Mercedes is actually going. And again, I'm just cruising. Again, I don't want to race these fuckers, because again, bikes always win when it comes to drag races. So I'm going to take my hand off the clutch just to signal that I don't want to be involved with this shit. And again, I already have too many speeding tickets. Not trying to go to court for anymore. But yeah, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, you know, just message me either through the comments or whatever. I'll try to help. You know, it's kind of one of my goals to invite more people to ride, and I want to make sure they get started right. There's definitely something wrong with that Mustang, because that's fucking slow.